Well, hey, we're here with Pastor Kenny Davis. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey guys.
So, Kenny, we've got hundreds of pastors and ministry leaders listening to this all across the country, and they're all dealing with what we're talking about here is, this idea of breaking through financially next year more than we have in this previous year. And I know that you have been a customer of Giving Rocket and you have applied some of the principles. And so we just want to talk just for a second, real pastor to real pastor, because you guys do the hard work and you're in the trenches. So let's just talk a little bit about where were you guys at when you decided to jump into Giving Rocket and kind of what was happening in your church and financially.
Yeah, we weren't at a terrible place. I'll just be honest with you. One thing that we worked hard at was setting a goal for our people to serve and to be in community groups. And so it's nothing really different than what a lot of churches do. We wanted 80% of those people, the adults, regulars in our church, serving or in community groups. So, and what I learned in Giving Rocket is that volunteering and getting people connected relationally is a big part of their investment in giving as well.
Sure.
So I think it was kind of keeping us above water as I'm looking back, because if any of you as you're watching this were like me, where the breakthrough needed to be was stop being scared about talking about money. We've always heard that people, when they just don't want to hear it, visitors, when they come, they don't want to hear it. The thing out there, all the churches talk about money. They're going to steal your money and all this stuff. And, the breakthrough I had as I started to look into some of Casey's stuff and Giving Rocket, of course, is that we've got to be bold as pastors, because what we're really robbing our people of is what we've kind of come up with at our church, just from some of the stuff that Giving Rocket talks about, is that we rob them of peace in their life first. We rob the church of growth, and we rob the community of impact. So now that's what we roll with. So anytime we do a giving talk or any of those things, we'll say, we're not going to be shy about this. And I went up and apologized to our church after 3.5 years or 4 years of being a church. I was not bold in talking about giving. And that's one thing I think the Giving Rocket will do. It'll say, be bold and wake up and understand that you're basically robbing your people of peace in their life, and you're robbing your church of growth, and you're robbing the community of impact.
That's amazing. So then I know you had what we consider, there was some breakthrough financially. There were some things that happened that I know you said being bold and those kind of things, but what kind of real fruit has it produced in your church by being bold, by doing the giving talks, by sending out the emails and the letters? Talk about some numbers. Talk about what's going on now in your church.
Yeah, well, we in the middle of all of this, we were a portable church for 4 years, and we were looking for a location. So in the middle of all of that, all of this kind of coincided. And so we started Giving Rocket. We started doing the giving talks. I just have to say, just hearing people's testimony about tithing makes them accountable to giving. I mean, the giving talks alone are huge on that. So then people start to turn over, and you start to set goals like, and we want to see, and I laughed at this at first, and many of you will laugh at this. We want to see 80% of our regulars tithing in the church. And the stats will tell you that is crazy. 6%, 7% of the church will be tithing. But, we've seen our numbers go up to 35% now. And in a year, we want to see that go up to 80. So we're talking about it. And so we needed, I think, we finally moved, and we closed on a property. And we needed, I think in 2 weeks, we needed $20,000 more dollars for the down payment to close. And I didn't go up and I didn't go up and beg. I didn't go up and do all the things that we pastors don't like doing. I simply said what the Giving Rocket will tell you to say: give to God what is God's, and see what will happen. And that's what I'm continuing to say. And I think it was in 2.5 weeks we raised the $20,000. It wasn't some special deal. We just said, church, we got to wake up. We got to wake up and watch what happens. And so now we're moved. We're over. We bought 20 acres south of town. It already had 17,000 square foot of buildings on it, and we're renovating them. Where people are continuing to give. We're doing some awesome things, and it has to happen to fund the ministry.
That's awesome. So, from where you were feeling before to where you're feeling now, with having some cushion and some education, that kind of thing, what's kind of the feelings like? Or maybe does this affect your home life at all, to the positive or negative, or cash flow? Like, we're going to get a paycheck, my staff's going to get paid. How does all of that stuff feel?
Yeah, well, I think right off the bat, it makes me feel like I'm not scared anymore. I'm not a wuss. I mean, I'm actually talking about one of the most important things. I think something maybe you said or someone said in the programming there is we'll give all this time to other things in service, and then we'll fly by the offering time or the tithing time or whatever we're going to call it, and we're really robbing people. So for one, I go home feeling better that I'm doing what I should do as a pastor. Yeah, when the money is coming in and it's being funded, sure, all of us have a little less stress than what we have, because we're wondering how it's all gonna work, especially when you're a non-denominational church or you're a portable church and there's not apportionments coming in or funding coming in from other places. Sure. You're wondering how you're going to make it. But I think once you see the coaching and they're spiritually backed, the coaching is spiritually backed. At times, you look at it, you're like, oh, this is just a program of some sort that you're going to buy. No, it's biblically backed. I mean, you look at it and you're like, man, I should have been doing this all along. But I think even with that, the peace I get at home and even in my job is that just some of the little things that I wasn't doing. I don't know if you want me divulging those, but I'll just tell you, there's just little things that the Giving Rocket will do that you think, man, why didn't I think of doing that? Sending a first time giver card. I mean, are you serious? So just little things those are big, and those made a big impact.
That's awesome, man. That's so good. So, last question I have for you is, the pastor that's sitting out there going, well, Casey and the Giving Rocket, they're just trying to sell me something. It's just, they're just trying to, this is another thing that they're trying to sell me. I don't have the money for this. We're already stretched thin. What would you say to that pastor, ministry leader listening?
Yeah, well, I'd say, yeah, you are trying to sell them something, because that's what you guys do. So when you watch it, let's be realistic.
And I agree.
Yeah. So the other thing is that you have to understand how great of a product it is, and not say that we don't have money for it. Because for us, we said, no, we need to invest in something that will help us, not even in the long run. It'll help us immediately educate our people. It'll give us encouragement. It'll give me encouragement as a pastor to know that others have done this, are doing this. It'll give me tools. I mean, stuff that's already written for you. That's a pastor's nightmare. That's the thing. You can punch the 2 number on your phone pad and ask your admin to do something. She doesn't know, or he doesn't know how to do what they're giving you. So they already give you the things that you need, the tools or the instruments you need to implement this stuff. And I think, for me, that's where a lot of places kind of miss it. It's like, oh, here's some great ideas at this conference. Go home and do them. Then we pastors come and sit in our office and are like, we don't know how to do it. And I don't have time to sit here and write up a Word document, 5 pages long. And so that's the thing about the Giving Rocket. Again, biblically based, but also very practically instrumental. I mean, if I'm a pastor, I'm looking at that, I'm saying, that alone, I'll pay the monthly, because if I get 2 or 3 or 4 of my families alone educated, motivated to tithe and give to God what is God's, then let's be real, it pays for itself.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, Kenny, thank you so much for being on the call today. We appreciate you sharing your story of breakthrough.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day.
Take care.